Hey there, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things that I'm doing that will put me on the path to financial independence automatically. These are small, manageable actions that I'm taking with the modest salary I have coming in right now that will direct my money in places that will ultimately build financial independence. This is kind of that set it and forget it kind of approach. And let me tell you, nothing here is new or groundbreaking or earth-shattering. They're just simple, basic, common sense kind of actions that I feel like we've all heard before, but the process of actually doing it, you'd be surprised at how many people just don't. So I made the decision to just do. And let me tell you, I am not winning any awards for speed at all. I am not like racing ahead to the finish line. My main goal is to enjoy the life that I have right now while building the life of my dreams. That means I take vacations, I spend on things that are important to me, and I spend time with the people that matter the most to me. And sometimes that means spending a little bit more when I could be saving, but ultimately I know this is the right path for me. Just to give you a little bit of my own background, I come from a history of chronic under-earning. The women in my family have traditionally had a hard time making significant incomes, and as a result, I never thought that I would be making a significant income. I went to school and graduated with a degree in English, and I never thought that I would have a lot of money to manage, and as a result, I never learned to manage money well. So I had a great training and foundation when it came to the basics of money, spend, save, give, but when it came to really managing money and making ultimate decisions about what to do with my money and the overarching sort of trajectory of my money, I just never thought that I'd need to know how to do that. And as a result, I never did. I never thought about the big picture of finances or really how finances would play into my life as a whole. I remember I had a friend in my first job and she did her projected earnings for the next 10 years. And we were making the exact same thing. By the way, it was not a lot. I worked for a publishing company, and at the time, I think probably still now, it just didn't pay a lot. It wasn't a traditionally high earning field in the entry level. So she was doing a projected income for the next 10 years, and I thought, why even bother? We're making nothing, so why bother thinking about what we're going to make in the future? Just, enjoy your life now. And looking back, that seems to me such an odd way to think because, again, we were making the exact same thing, but she projected in her future increases in income, she projected raises, bonuses, benefits, and learning more so that she would be worth more in the future. That never occurred to me. This mindset also led me into some pretty bad spending decisions. So I ended up getting myself into a mountain of credit card debt. I'm talking about the kind of credit card debt where I couldn't even make the minimum payments. Like that for me was a rock bottom, not being able to make minimum payments. And I'd heard about it, but never imagined that it would happen to me. And guess what? By not thinking about my money, that's how it happened. I didn't pay attention. I wasn't conscious in my spending, and it built up, and all of a sudden I had this huge credit card debt and I had no idea what to do. So that's where my journey into financial literacy really started. Taking ownership, taking responsibility, and deciding to get myself out of this financial hole that I dug myself into. So eventually, it took about 2.5 years, and I got myself out of $17,000 in credit card debt, which, let me tell you, at the time was about 75% of my salary. It was awful, but I got it done in about 2.5 years, and I have not looked back since. That was about 10 years ago, and now I'm at the point where I'm thinking, okay, I feel like I know what I should do with my money, and that's what I'm going to tell you about, the steps that I've taken to bring me to automatic financial independence. So there's this misconception that financial independence is only for people who make huge salaries or people who are willing to live lives of extreme deprivation. So that's what I first thought at the beginning of the year when I really started my deep dive into the world of financial independence, retire early, or the F.I.R.E community. So I thought that this was something that would be tough for me to achieve because I don't have a huge salary and I'm not really willing to live a life of huge deprivation. I have since learned that that type of financial independence retire early method is called F.I.R.E. Typically, this is for people who have huge incomes and are able to live on very, very greatly reduced salaries in order to achieve a status where they don't really need to work and work is optional for them. Again, that's called F.I.R.E. I didn't know that there was an alternative way to achieve financial independence called F.I.R.E. This is more for people like me, who make traditional kind of modest salaries and who still want to enjoy some of the things in life, like vacations, spending time with friends and family, and maybe a few little luxuries and indulgences along the way. So once I heard about F.I.R.E, I knew that this was the path that I wanted to be on. So the steps that I'm taking that I'm going to tell you about right now are really my path toward F.I.R.E. I am following the F.I.R.E way. Step 1. I put 10% of my pre-tax income into an employer-matched 401k plan. Simple. You've heard it before. I just decided to take the smart way and take 10% of my salary off the top so I never even see it hit my bank account. Something I've started doing just recently is actually logging into that account and taking a look at my investments and seeing what they're doing and seeing how they might be doing better if I made some moves. The more I learn and the more smart, informed actions I take, the faster I will get to financial independence. Step 2 is to set up an automatic savings plan with the money that does come into my bank account. Again, this is very simple, nothing earth-shattering here, but what I did was to just set this up automatically. Every time my paycheck comes in, 10% of that automatically goes to savings. And that's made a huge difference because I try not to even look at that savings account. So as the money comes in, I don't really see that part that's going into that automatic savings, and eventually that balance is starting to grow. This is my short to medium term emergency fund, and I use this for any expenses that might creep up that I would have previously needed to go to a credit card for. Having this sort of cushion in my budget has made a huge difference and has really, I feel, allowed me to make faster progress than I would have ordinarily. So again, it's just 10% off of every paycheck. So I'm saving both pre-tax and post-tax. The post-tax part is accessible. The third thing I am doing to put myself on the path to becoming automatically financially independent is always looking for ways to either increase my income or decrease my expenses. And this has just become sort of an ongoing habit that I am in the habit of doing. I have my day job and I'm continually looking for ways to expand my skill set and to make myself more marketable and more valuable to my employers and my clients. This has just become something that I'm in the habit of doing. I'm also looking for ways to increase my income on the side with side hustles. For me, my main side hustle is eBay and selling things on eBay. I'm also trying to create printables and downloads on Etsy. Once more, I'm always looking for ways that I can kind of increase my additional income. I'm also looking for ways that I can decrease my spending, sort of cutting bills where possible, cutting my variable spending in the categories, especially cutting my spending, especially in the areas of groceries, personal care, clothing, things like that. The reason I put income before cutting expenses is because you can only cut so much from your living expenses, right? There's a limit to how much you can cut, whereas your income is pretty much unlimited. The only limit on your income is what you're able and willing to do, how much you're willing to learn, how much you're willing to put yourself out there, how much you're willing to change and grow. That's the only limit on your income, my income, your income too. Step 4 is that I track all my spending. This is something, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I have my Excel template that I use to track how much I spend on a daily basis, and then I reconcile that on a monthly basis. I have this idea of being on an automatic financial independence path, but it's really easy to get off course. I find that tracking my daily spending and then reconciling it monthly really makes sure that I am keeping on that path. It's like an airplane setting its course. Pilots are continually recalibrating their direction. Pilots have to stay awake at the helm. I am the pilot of my finances, and it is critical that I be awake and intentional and engaged. I work to stay intentional, engaged, and accountable with my finances on a daily basis, reconciled monthly, so that I know I will end up, or I set out to end up. The last thing I do to put myself on a path toward automatic financial independence is I stay committed to learning. I aim to have a teachable growth mindset that will allow me to adjust and adapt to whatever comes my way and to be ready for the good things as well as being prepared for the bad things. I try to surround myself with people who are positive and like-minded, who are also working towards similar financial goals in order to share inspiration and encouragement and hope, as well as strategies for coping and adjusting and learning new skills that will help me be a better manager of my money and will get me to financial independence faster. I have a friend that really pushes me and encourages me to look at managing my money. It's actually the reason I started looking into my retirement account and kind of playing around with managing the funds that I'm invested in and how I'm investing. This type of thought and action is exactly the kind of thing that will lead me toward financial independence faster by making making me a better manager of my money. I firmly believe that you are the average of the 5 people that you interact with the most, and I'm on a mission to make sure that I interact with the absolute best, most wonderful, encouraging, good-hearted, and fantastic people that I can possibly find. Which leads me to the end of this video to say thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, you are one of the most amazing, incredible, wonderful, financial-minded people. I really appreciate your support. If you feel like it, let me know in the comments if you're working toward financial independence, and if you are, what are the steps that you are taking? As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll keep watching. Bye.